let you drive around my mind. I can't count the times you made me feel like I'm nothing. Played me like a fool, like a fool. Saying drink another whiskey, pop another pill. Money makes you happy, heaven isn't real. You won't find nobody to love because your heart's too broke. Now I know you ain't nothing but a liar. Yeah, I walk right out the fire. Yeah, you try to keep me down, try to put me underground, but I'm only going higher. I can hear you in my head, in my bed when I'm dreaming. You try to be my friend, but you're blowing smoke. Oh, and now I ain't scared of telling you where you can go, 'cause I know you're nothing but a lie. You burned me one too many times, like a devil in disguise, hiding your true colors. Just leave me alone, keep leading me on. Saying drink another whiskey, pop another pill. Money makes you happy, heaven isn't real. You won't find nobody to love because your heart's too broke. Now I know you ain't nothing but a liar. Yeah, I walk right out the fire. Yeah, you try to keep me down, try to put me underground, but I'm only going higher. I can hear you in my head, in my bed when I'm dreaming. You try to be my friend, but you're blowing smoke. Oh, and now I ain't scared of telling you where you can go, 'cause I know you're nothing but a lie. If I was doing what you do, then you would swear I poisoned you. You're nothing but a liar. Yeah, I walk right out the fire. Yeah, you try to keep me down, try to put me underground, but I'm only going higher. I can hear you in my head, in my bed when I'm dreaming. You try to be my friend, but you're blowing smoke. Oh, and now I ain't scared of telling you where you can go, 'cause I know you're nothing but a lie.
Amazon One Medical presents Painful Thoughts.
I've been on hold to make a doctor's appointment.
Just so you know, it's only muted because Spotify's playing ads. I still have not. I still have not paid for premium Spotify. I miss premium Spotify. By the way, thank you guys for joining me Okay, so now I know I'm live. Everything works. Yeah, I'm just getting stuff ready on my end, tweeting it out, letting people know that I'm live. Yeah, all I'm gonna do today is basically be on Rumble. And then YouTube will get the replay. But I am really having a blast over here on Rumble. And if you guys feel the same way, if you guys enjoy what I do, by all means, chat it up in the live chat. Yeah. That's the wrong song. All I want to do is just play some Jelly Roll song as I I can't listen to myself. Hold on. That's just the most weirdest thing ever. Yeah, I just it went into Warren Ziders music, which is also he's also a good musician. Um by the way, well, you know what? I'll wait until I turn on my camera and stuff. But yeah. So give me a couple more seconds till I get things ready.
Throwing up prayers like Hail Marys if you're still there. Lord spare me. Oh my God, Hail Mary. Hanging in there, just barely throwing up prayers like Hail Marys if you're still there. Lord spare me. Oh my God, Hail Mary. I only talk to God when I need a favor. And I only pray when I ain't got a prayer. So tell me who the hell am I to expect the Savior when I only talk to God if I need a favor? God, I need a favor. Amen. God, I need a favor. Amen. I miss you, I need you, but only when I'm weak. Yeah, sometimes my past life still got a hold on me, and just 'cause I ain't reaching for the bottle, and I ain't got a
Okay, I think I put it everywhere. I think I put it everywhere. Let me just You guys can see me. It is hot, by the way. It is. I have no idea how. What's the degrees? Is 99? It's 99. Yesterday, I went out walking in 96-degree weather, and basically did 15,000 steps. Surprisingly, my body doesn't really hurt that much. But yeah, this is gonna be a very interesting live stream. It is only gonna be on Rumble. I didn't decide to do multi-streaming to YouTube, because if I'm gonna be showing you guys the actual promo session and breaking down the promo session, YouTube is not gonna like that. I'm gonna get hit with at least a copyright claim because that's what WWE does. WWE does that kind of stuff, and it's like, man. So I put it everywhere for people to join, for people to come on by. I'm still learning about Rumble and what to do on Rumble and whatnot. You know, everyone else has been doing this for a while on Rumble obviously have everything figured out. I posted on Instagram about how like my setup is not like the most unique thing. It's not the most aesthetically appeasing thing. Appeasing, I guess. Most aesthetically pleasing, I guess. Kind of deal. It is basically my laptop, my microphone, which I gotta untangle that. And that's it, and a table and whatnot. And then, you know, this here, my background. So basically, yeah. And, you know, sometimes they say that it's okay to start over, and it does feel like I'm starting over when it comes to live streaming again and building the momentum and stuff like that. It really does feel that way. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to try Rumble out again just by itself and see what will happen and whatnot. But it is gonna be what it is. I don't know because we're really not gonna jump right into it first. I do want to say that I have some like new gifts. So this right here is a little mini microphone thing that I had on my Throne wish list. If you guys don't know what Throne is, obviously it's a wish list. It's similar to Amazon and whatnot. Content creators have it to upgrade their equipment, lifestyle, cute things, whatever it is. But yeah, this is gonna be a game changer because these are little tiny microphones with a little adapters for my phone, since I use my phone for everything. And basically I could do interviews smoothly whenever I go to events. I can quickly do some cool videos and whatnot because I'll have a mic with me. I don't always have to be hooked up to a wired mic. You know, this is great. So Anonymous got me this. Um and then this thing here, this kettlebell, since I've been wanting to like work out and I don't have a home gym, I would love to have a home gym. Cuz you know, asking people like, "Hey, can you take me to the gym or whatever?" Just wouldn't, you know, just doesn't work right. But anyway, yeah. So kettlebell, 10 pounds. Amazon, this thing is really, really heavy. But now I get to work out and have some really toned muscles and whatnot. And yeah, I was gonna go to Five Below to go get a really cheap one, just so that way I can have something to work out with. Because all I've been doing all summer is basically walking everywhere. 15,000 steps here, 10,000 steps here, 12,000 steps there. 5,000 is the minimum, and the maximum is 10,000. If I go over 10,000, you know, I'm very happy about doing that. I'm very happy about going over 10,000 steps, but sometimes that just doesn't you know, happen. Sometimes you have to listen to your body. If your body is like, no, don't you dare, like, you know, it's okay, sit down for a bit kind of deal, you know, rest for a bit. But other than that, like yeah, so I have that. Anonymous also bought me that too. I have mentioned like on my social media platforms that I have you know, I've been wanting to like work out and lose weight and do this and do that, and sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to do so. So you know, I'm very, very, very happy about that. Um, but yeah, so It's only me right now. Um, I also created 2 channels. I created a Square Circle podcast channel, which is basically my main channel no matter what. So even on like YouTube, that's like my main channel. Square Circle podcast. So youtube.com// Square Circle podcast. Which is basically mainly professional wrestling stuff. And other topic, not really other topics, but like deeper wrestling topics, wrestling breakdowns, aka tape study series, and also ringology. If it has to deal with professional wrestling, it's on the Square Circle podcast. The Square Circle podcast started on October 19th, 2019. And it has been going strong ever since. So it's basically like 6 years old. Every time we hit January, it turns a year no matter what. But yeah, October 19th, 2019 was the start of the Square Circle podcast. I do understand that there is a plethora of podcasters that have like Square Circle in their name, and I was like, man, should I change it? But not. It's become a staple. It's become my branding. And then I created another channel called Crossroads Interviews and Editorials, and I've mentioned this before, and I did like a video on it, a slight video. I tend to like over explain what these shows and series are because it's, you know, I guess I want it to be like a lot of things, but I really don't need it to be a lot of things. All I need is the main focus and the main purpose, which is basically Crossroads Editorial and Interviews is basically Crossroads Interviews is the main title for interviews because I have this bad habit of like naming something and then like when I feel like it's dying, where there's no activity coming in or there's no inspiration coming in, I just feel like I have to create something new, and that's just one of my quirks that I have. One of my I guess personality traits is sometimes I have to create something new to feel motivated, especially if like, you know, I'm not really asking the community like, hey, what do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to do and whatnot? Because most of the time in the world of professional wrestling, we have a lot of content creators who tend to just troll on people, clown on people, really expose like, the stupid shit that people say. And I get it. There's a there's a market for that. There really is. But how many times can you say the same thing over and over if nobody is going to change? That is the definition of insanity, where basically like you do things over and over and over and over and over again, where you're like, well, nothing's changing, then why do I have to keep talking about it in a way? So I really don't pay attention to any of the trolls unless like they need to, I guess, become an example for like awareness, not necessarily like, oh my god, let's go, be horrible to this burner account, which most likely is a person behind it. If not, it's a bot, or they're using like chat GPT and shit. But for the most part, it's like, you know do you guys not have any lives? Staying on social media the whole entire time is not a very good thing either. So it's one of those like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And then if you have basically what do you call it? A channel where you try to find conversations and truth within the conversations and be truthful and really lay it all out on the line, then people have a problem with that too. So like, because I'm new to Rumble, I'm giving you guys like the breakdown on stuff. When I repost this to YouTube, everyone already knows like my deal and my history and whatnot, and how I like talk about topics, especially New Japan Pro Wrestling, where people tend to tell me that you can't save New Japan Pro Wrestling. What makes you think you could do so? Because I got a platform, I got a voice, and I got a good head on my shoulders to know what we can do and what we can't do. But there are just people in the wrong management positions that are really killing New Japan Pro Wrestling. And even, in adjacent to New Japan Pro Wrestling, aka the New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW partnership. AEW is killing New Japan Pro Wrestling. You're going to have to accept it one day. One day you're going to have to accept it. I have been calling it out since the beginning because I was just like, this is all, politicking backstage. And sometimes people don't want to, acknowledge that there are politics backstage. And then when they find out, like, how does politics work in professional wrestling, it's like, really mind boggling to them. It really is. It's really mind-boggling to them. And it's like I've been in this wrestling business like knee deep. So yeah, I know. Their stories and whatnot. Um for the most part, I know people do not want to just hear me yap, but they want me to like get into the stuff. But yeah, this is just things of catching you guys up. SummerSlam is this weekend, August 2nd, August 3rd, over here in New Jersey. I'm in New York City, but it's like right next to us at the MetLife Stadium. So 2 nights. I do not know what night this tag match is gonna be on, so I don't know if Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I do not know if that's gonna be night 1 or night 2, but either way, like it's gonna be a very fun thing. Um, I'm excited to see Jelly Roll wrestle and see what he can do. He picked it up pretty quickly. He really did. He picked it up quickly. Let me see something. Um, Apparently, Drew McIntyre is stranded in Scotland. Should be Scotland. Apparently he is in England. Okay. Apparently he's stranded, and I'm like, sure you are. This is how you tend to use social media. You tend to make up stories, and Drew McIntyre has been very, very good about making up stories and whatnot. So I was trying to find the video. Um, so that way I can play it. I also just randomly just want to say that I do not like the fact that my autocorrect on my phone always autocorrects the word live to love. I don't know how to like stop it from doing that. If anybody knows, let me know. Um Let me just make sure that it's going to the right one. It really is going to the right one. Okay. And also, since I really don't I'm really trying out Rumble here, and I really do enjoy Rumble. I enjoy it. Um, just so you know, you can subscribe to me. You can, I guess, gift subscriptions, and then you could also send like a rant. So I'm just learning everything. Okay, I'm learning everything. This is a little bit different. I feel like there's a learning curve, but it's a good learning curve of Rumble. So if anybody out there want to help me and give me some advice and some guidance, that'd be great. That would be super fantastic. Um, as always, welcome everybody to the stream. I don't know if I just want to play the. Can I not find it on YouTube? I probably could. My table is you know.
Drew McIntyre.
Oh, not. Oh, okay. So hold on.
This huge tag match at SummerSlam.
Okay, I don't even want to hear that. Um, did they not have? So everybody decided to take it and be like, "This is my video," and this is Drew McIntyre speaking that he's stranded and stuff. Um, Jeez, man. Um, but I think that it is a complete story, that it's not a work. Okay. Most people, when they get into wrestling and they're brand new into wrestling, they think they know these insider terms, but they don't. um Basically, oh wait, no, hold on, I said it wrong, because it wouldn't be a shoot, it would be a work. um that I don't think that Drew McIntyre is stranded. I really don't think so. um if I can find the actual video without like none of this playing. Um, does Drew McIntyre not have a his own thing? No, I probably he doesn't. Uh, but apparently Drew McIntyre had like lost his passport, but his wife had her passport, so she was able to come back to the States, but Drew McIntyre isn't able to come back to the States. And of course, we have, everybody on the IWC on Twitter having a full blown out like meltdown in a way. And, well, not really everybody, I don't know, but most of the dirt sheet writers that we don't like, creating this narrative of like, oh, they're looking for Drew's replacement for the tag match this weekend. Guys, like, freaking Drew McIntyre is like in the States. There is no way that Drew is gonna be that clumsy, even though if you're going on vacation and then you're coming back, I can understand how things can probably get hectic. But like there's no way that he's gonna be that clumsy to be like, oh, I forgot my passport. Honey, it's okay, you go to the States. Like, what? Like, you go to the States. Oh my God. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say on that, because I cannot find the original video. That is the most weirdest thing, that I cannot find the original video, and it should be on YouTube. I don't know, do you guys think that WWE will have it? Like on theirs? By the way, if you're joining the stream, hello, I am Marie Shadows. Thank you for joining the Square Circle podcast with Marie Shadows. Me, that's me. And we talk about wrestling here. We're gonna talk about Jelly Roll, and I want to talk about his music and stuff as well. Cause it's not bad.
Drew McIntyre's passport panic sparks travel chaos, but WWE.
Oh my God, I hate these little the shorts where they try to be news people. It's in jeopardy, or I mean the video didn't say that yet, but it's in jeopardy, it's in this, it's in that. Okay, fine. Let's just get into the real stuff. By the way, if you're new here, don't make me feel like so alone. Say hi in the chat. I would like to get to know the wonderful Rumble people and viewers and content creators. Okay, I would like to get to know you guys and say hi. Of course, if you're lurking, you're lurking. I get it, but I would like to greet you guys so I can say hi. There's probably some stuff I have to get rid of. Oh, here it is. Okay.
SummerSlam.
Goes into the mini player, but that's not what I wanted. There's no. It's gonna have to do it like that. Why is it not showing up? Oh, because it has to. My God, I really don't want it to be like that. Okay, so hold on. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Also, if anyone is gonna be watching this on the VOD, let me know if like switching channels uh sort of like hinders my reach in Rumble. Just because like on the other channel, the main like Marie Shadow's channel, it is basically 3 followers, but I don't really know. I don't know if that plays a role in this where you have to like stick to one. Yeah, I don't know. But we're gonna be reacting to this. And I'm gonna give pointers along the way and some coaching advice. Um, yeah.
Saturday, that will be Randy Orton teaming with Jelly Roll to take on the team of Drew McIntyre and Cleveland's very own Maverick Logan Paul.
And his industry-leading podcast, Impulsive, set in the ring here in Cleveland.
Hey, Cleveland, it's good to be home. What's up with the switch up? Y'all were just chanting thank you, Logan, no? Thank you, Logan. Yeah, I heard y'all. Well, that was 5 minutes ago. You forgot?
Pretty much.
Yes, sir. Hey, you're welcome, by the way. Let's get one thing straight. Yes, this city raised me. But this city did not make me. In fact, I made this city.
Now, for anybody that's new out there that's watching wrestling, this is a heel promo. I will say though that Logan knows how to talk shit. Okay, he knows how to talk shit. He knows how to get the crowd riled up. He's basically an entertainer. Just based on him and his brother doing celebrity boxing matches that we all know they're all fixed. There's like, come on, you can't really deny that or hide that. But both of them are shit talkers. Both of them are entertainers. They know what to say, even though if you heard it a million times before in some type of rhetoric of like, you guys didn't make me, I made myself. Like we all heard that. So that's him being a heel. I do think he still needs to work on his promos. He's a very gifted athlete, I could say that. But personally, I will say this the same way that I say it on youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast, is that I just don't like him as a person. But yeah, he still needs to work on his promos and his delivery and stuff like that. It's getting there slow, but he just needs to work on stuff.
Shut up, everyone here knows it. And I know what you're all thinking. Oh, Logan's from Cleveland, look at him, he's on the stage, he's in the ring. He's just like us, false. You and I have nothing in common.
If we really think about that, do people actually think that they have something in common with Logan? Like, what about all the little kids that buy Prime? That would be a very good experiment video to go out into the world and be like, hey, I know we're not in Cleveland. Like, I can't really travel because of just funds unless somebody wants to fund a road trip for me to go to Cleveland and ask people there and be like, hey, did you ever think that you were, at the same as like Logan Paul, or like, do you connect with him in some type of way? And if they buy his drink, the Prime Energy drink, because that's a really weird line to say. And then when Logan Paul cuts his promos, you can tell that like he's memorized this. This isn't him talking from his own mind and his own heart, because most of the time it's just doesn't make any sense. Whoever is writing for Logan Paul needs to understand that I get that he's a narcissist, and the lines that we just heard are him being a narcissist. But it just doesn't make any sense, because I don't think no one is thinking that. No one is like, hey, Logan Paul and I are the same person, or thinking the same thing. Like, no, I don't think no one's doing that. So whoever is writing his lines, just be aware of the person that you are writing for. because not all narcissistic lines make sense.
No, seriously, listen. I made it out. You didn't.
Oh, see, now that right there, like, I mean, that's definitely like heel 101.
Hey, but tonight's not about me, guys. Tonight is about the community. I'm giving back tonight because tonight I'm giving Cleveland a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see a special edition of Impulsive TV Live. Yeah, that's right. I'm bringing out the human donut hole who made a mockery of our business on Jimmy Kimmel Live. I am gonna show that Kentucky Fried Convict what a real host looks like. I'm gonna show him what a
Kentucky Fried Convict. What? That is some clever words. Some very, very, very clever words. How come all of the cancel culture people are not gonna try to cancel Logan Paul for calling Jelly Roll a Kentucky Fried, what is it? Kentucky Fried Conviction guy? Like, the thing he just said that I thought it was pretty clever. Where are all the cancel culture people that grab their pitchforks and all of their flamethrowers and will be like, Hogan is bad? Where's that same energy for Logan Paul? Don't you think calling someone that hold on, let me go back for a second.
Yeah, that's right. I'm bringing out the human donut hole who made a mockery of our business on Jimmy Kimmel Live. I am gonna show that Kentucky Fried Convict.
Okay, so Kentucky Fried Convict. Yeah, so where are all those people that were really, really upset with Hogan and not really upset with Logan Paul for calling, Jelly Roll that? Despite, Jelly Roll giving us a rundown of his past life and everything that he did and whatnot, and how he found God and Jesus and whatnot. But just the fact alone that people get to pick and choose when to be mad, when not to be mad, and something like that's sort of out of pocket in a way, even though yes, I did say that it's a clever phrasing, but if you're gonna treat one thing as bad that someone has said, is this not the equivalent? Like, can this not be an equivalent? And I'm only bringing it up to showcase logic here, because again, it is, pick and choose, whichever one you want. It's pick and choose. But I do think that was very, very clever. By the way, for anyone that gets upset at Logan Paul for saying the line of that, Jelly Roll made a mockery out of our business. This is again him being a heel. This is him being like the most obvious person in the room where he doesn't see himself as that's a projection that he's doing right now, where he says that Jelly Roll made a mockery of the business. Hell, man, you're when you came in, like, I was just like, oh, I don't like this. I really don't like that Logan Paul came into the business. However, I will give Logan Paul his flowers for his athletic ability and not really his promo ability, and not him being a person, but his athletic ability gets the flowers. But it's the same concept. It's the same thing of like, yo, you came into this business. I don't know if you respected the business. I don't think you respect the business. You really don't respect anything. But that's him projecting. That's him talking about himself.
What a real host looks like. I'm gonna show him what a real inspiration to their hometown looks like. Cause Jelly Roll, I got news for you.
This song is probably going to get a copyright claim too when I put it on YouTube.
The four-time Grammy-nominated music superstar, Jelly Roll.
Stop the music. Stop the music. You don't got to play that song for Logan Paul to know who his daddy is.
I think I understood that. I didn't really understand that one. But yeah, so coming out to a I'm probably gonna get it wrong. But people online were saying that it, you know what? Let me look it up because my brain wants me to say. Oh, see, I would have totally turned his name around because I think I have no idea. I think he came out to a Keith Urban song, but you guys will have to tell me in the comments. That's what I remember from Twitter, but it's been a long time. It's been a while. It's been a while since I checked Twitter to see what they said. But yeah, so coming out to that song, it's not really the most hype thing, but if you're in Cleveland and you're still like in the area of like Nashville and all that kind of stuff, people are gonna pop for it. But yeah, smart of Jelly to like start there. Let's keep going.
Did I hear you say the word inspiration? You think you're an inspiration? The only thing you've ever inspired is little asshole kids to film themselves being assholes.
Which is 100% right. 100% right. We can there's a lot of people that film online content and basically just do degenerate shit, and they pass it around as like, this is normal, kids, this is normal. None of them, including Logan Paul and his brother, are like, hey kids, don't try this at home, we're just being stupid, think before you act, and whatever, we're just being stupid. But no, those two guys plus other people online don't really put disclaimers to let kids know, hey, don't do what we do, don't do what we see. That's why we had like a little rise in kids eating Tide Pods, having detergent in their body, which is like, you guys got to stop seeing the stuff that you see online and act it out. Don't be foolish and whatnot. I don't know why we don't have parents anymore. Parents don't want to parent their kids. Parents want to have all the fun time in the world, carry a kid for 9 months, and then don't even parent their kid. And then they wonder why the kids turn out to be assholes, is because you're having the internet raise your kids. You're having the government raise your kids. You're having people like Logan Paul and Jake Paul raise your kids. And then you're like, oh, why they're such an asshole? We never taught them this. Because you weren't there being their parents. You'll bring them into the world, but you won't be their parents. And I understand that people have to work and whatnot, but now it's probably the time to sort of really try to get the government of 2025 to understand that we need a different way of how to raise kids, and the internet is not the answer. But like, if women want to stay home with the kids, let them stay home with the kids and let them get a stipend every like 2 weeks, every month or something, so that way they could stay home and be a mother and a caretaker and whatnot. We got to start shifting and adapting to different people's work abilities, and not just be like, okay, well, we got to pay for childcare, daycare, all this kind of stuff just to go to work, just to meet the demands of like high prices for rent and stuff, and making sure that the car could run, making sure that there's gas, making sure that there's food and whatnot. So I think that there's a time and a place to basically change how the workforce is viewed, for everybody, like across the board, to help out where it needs to help out, to dip a little bit where it needs to dip, and to create happier lives, happier people, even though people are always going to complain. And if you're just tuning in, you're wondering what you walked into, it's just that Jelly Roll had told Logan Paul that the only inspiration that he ever created was creating assholes, because children will be watching him, so those children became assholes. And I was saying that, like, parents don't know how to parent their kids anymore. Social media, the internet, and also the government has been teaching kids and raising kids. And then when parents are like, I never taught my kid that, it's because parents never parent their kid. Parents want to have the fun time, carry a kid for 9 months, give birth, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have, you can raise my kid at that point. I'm just saying that we should get back to an era where parents should be parents. The workforce should be adaptable to those who want to stay home and parent their kids, be with their kids, nurture their kids, want to be stay-at-home moms. That should be a thing. And then those that want to work, just compensate about, like, parents taking time off to be with the kids and, live a more healthier, happier lifestyle rather than burning out and working so much, and then you miss everything. But yeah, just in case if people were tuning in.
And you know what else?
Hey, shut the hell up,
No.
Jelly
You know
Roll.
what else? I'm sick of you talking about Cleveland like people from Cleveland actually like you. Logan, I am more Cleveland than you.
Jelly Roll.
I am more Cleveland than you.
Can't read. This says Impulsive TV.
I know you can't read. I don't know if I ever came across anything like that said Jelly Roll can't read. Where the fuck did he get that from? Or was it just like a jab of like, yo, bro, I know you can't read kind of deal. But yeah, I don't really know if that's like a true statement.
Okay? This is my show, so shut your mouth and show some respect. I want to make one thing crystal clear, Jelly Roll. I brought you out here to let you know that you are getting in the ring with two of WWE's finest. You understand that?
Two of WWE's finest?
Logan Paul, the Moment Maker, and the Scottish Warrior, a 6'7", 300-pound giant who I get to tag in. And Randy Orton gets to tag in you.
Again, projection.
Jelly, other than a couple of cheap shots you got on me, buddy, you got nothing. So who the hell do you think you are?
By the way, I guess this might become like another pet peeve of mine. I probably should make a list of like my pet peeves in wrestling. But like sometimes in a promo battle, I don't really like it when either side, whether they're a babyface or they are a heel, and they go and say, I don't know, I don't think, no, like the line of, what is it? I don't think you know who you are. No, what's the line? I know I should have the line, in my head already, but, sometimes it can deliver. Sometimes it really can't, but,
giant who I get to tag in, and Randy Orton gets to tag in you. Jelly, other than a couple of cheap shots you got on me, buddy, you got nothing. So who the hell do you think you are?
Oh yeah, that line of like, who the hell do you think you are? Sometimes it's like, it's been used so much that, it is an open-ended question because it could go any which way, and then you can drive the promo to wherever you need it to go. But I think there should be a better way of saying, who the hell do you think you are? Or like, what makes you so special to step into this ring that has years and years of wrestling history? You don't even know a thing about wrestling history. You don't even know a thing about the moments in this ring. You just came in like last week. There's more to just who the hell do you think you are kind of deal. There's more to the whole who the hell do you think you are kind of deal. If you want to create more story and this goes for Logan Paul. I don't even think he's gonna even hear this or whatever. But this goes for him too. Goes for anybody else who's a heel. Rather than saying something like that, if you feel like somebody on the other side of the promo doesn't belong in the same ring as you or doesn't belong in wrestling, you can start to say that, yo, you just got here last week. You don't even go here while I've been here making making memories and moments, because that's what Logan Paul alluded to. So, you know, Logan's been there making moments, making memories. And then, you know, also dig into the fact that there's so many years in wrestling, so much history, and that you could turn it back on the guy you're promoting, so basically like Jelly Roll, and be like, you don't even know the history. Why would you? You got in here just to increase your fame, just to increase your clout off of my name. But guess what? When comes SummerSlam, you know, I'll teach you all the history that wrestling has taught me and the athletes that we're in. Because you're not, you know, basically also to play up that, like, this isn't a music concert. You know, in a music concert, you have the whole stage, you have everybody singing to you, but you're not randomly gonna have like one of your homeboys come out to try to do like a rock bottom on you on stage, right? So like, it's not like the concert, it's gonna be turned into a WWE match in a way. So Logan here could have had the upper hand in saying that, hey, I'm gonna teach you wrestling history. I'm gonna teach you why, you know, you don't belong in like this ring with these ropes. Because Logan has been there longer than Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll just came in. Even though Jelly Roll is training behind the scenes, that doesn't mean that, like, you know, well, I was gonna say that doesn't mean like he doesn't belong, but it's just the idea of like in a promo battle, you're supposed to get people interested. You're supposed to increase the storytelling and how hype you can get with this. That's where they sort of missed the mark. And it, like, if I was looking over the script, I would have told Logan, like, dude, you gotta like aim into this and tell the world, like, hey, there's wrestling history here, there's blah blah blah. It'll make him get more heat, which heat in the business means that, like, you know, people are mad upset at him, you know, like that kind of deal. The fans will keep booing him because the fans are not going to believe that. But if Logan believes it, that's all that matters. If you as a wrestler believe the bullshit that you are speaking, you're going to go over. That's why Logan Paul essentially is over with the crowds, because he understands how to be an entertainer. Now, even though we're not, after this, we're getting into like Jelly Roll's part. Jelly Roll is not that bad of a promo guy, okay? Jelly Roll writes some really good lyrics, does really good storytelling with his music. We'll get into some of his music in a little bit. But I will say that, like, you know, Jelly Roll is a good promo guy. But we'll continue with this.
Who do I think I am? I think I'm the guy that's fixing to put you in a body bag and ship you back to Westlake.
Which, by the way, I just wanted to jump in and pause very quickly. I know I'm pausing every couple of moments. That was a really good response. Most baby faces in WWE and in wrestling will just say some generic babyface kind of line of, like, you know, I'm the man that's gonna kick your ass, or I'm the man that's been here since day one, or I don't know, some really whack line that a babyface would say. But that was a very good line to be like, let me tell you who I am, right? And it's one of those things of like, it brought a little bit more hype to it. I'm guessing, I probably shouldn't really be guessing. I think Jelly Roll and Randy Orton are obviously the baby faces, and Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre are the heels. But I don't think Jelly Roll is playing a particular, like, he's not playing the babyface of all baby faces kind of deal. He's not doing like a Cody Rhodes kind of deal where Cody Rhodes is like the babyface. But Jelly Roll here is like, bro, let me tell you who I am. You know.
You know what really pisses me off about you, Logan? You ain't never had a struggle in your life.
That's true.
You have been a silver spoon kid your whole life, Logan.
That's true.
I'm not getting in this ring just for me. I'm getting in this ring to represent every poor kid who had a dream that they would never make it, and they got picked on by high school jocks like you. That's why I'm getting in this ring.
So there we go. That is the ultimate babyface right there. That's not a bad thing. That's not a good thing. It's just like me pointing out like that's a babyface thing. That's more story. That's a better freaking motivation than most of the wrestlers out here when they do promos. Like the best motivation kind of line deliverance. And I think that modern wrestlers need to learn from Jelly Roll and Logan Paul, which saying that in 2025 is crazy. But that is motivation. Sometimes your promos need a motivation. It can't just be like, I'm the best wrestler in the world and I'm going to kick your ass. It can't be that. That's very, very boring. It's like, watching paint dry. There's nothing going on. If you just say, oh, I came here to kick your ass and you'll know on such and such date at such and such time in such and such location for such and such promotion, it's like, okay, that's not going to make me buy a ticket. What is going to make me buy a ticket? What Jelly Roll just said, that he's doing this not for him. So this cause and this motivation is way bigger than anything else. He's not doing it for him. He's doing it for all the kids that ever got picked on, which that's bigger than him. Anybody could have got picked on by someone that looks like and represents the personality of Logan Paul and Jake Paul, the Paul brothers, where basically you can feel like they bully people. Obviously, because Logan Paul over here bullied George off of his Impulsive podcast because he didn't like George talking about God and Jesus and whatnot. So George is doing fantastic on his own, which is kind of wrong. It's kind of like, bro, I can understand that someone doesn't want to hear about God or Jesus like 24/7 or like Christian stuff or Catholicism stuff like 24/7. I totally get that. But you do have to talk to your friend or ex-friend like an adult and be like, bro, I totally understand that you found this new faith. I may not always want to hear it, but I'm going to respect you, but just keep it to a minimum if you can. That is called being an adult. Logan over here doesn't know how to be an adult. But for Jelly Roll to say that this is for all the kids that, basically, ever had somebody be picked on or, a jock had picked on them, that's very inspirational. That's very like, I could connect with this. Even though Jelly Roll is not a wrestler, but they could still connect with him in that way, shape, or form if they're a wrestling fan, no matter what, because we've all been, bullied in some way, shape, or form. So that was a very good thing. Also, looking at Logan Paul in the eye is a very good thing.
Just so we're clear, I'm getting in this ring to bring light to this ring. The only thing you
that's the main part that I want to like really talk about when I got tagged on Twitter at Marie_Shadows to react to the small little segment of this, and I only stopped it here because I want to go like segment by segment. Like I said, Jelly Roll is not a bad promo. He's actually really good. It's just that I did not like the fact that he basically leaned down a little bit to point towards the ring and says that he's also doing this to be a light in this ring. Like he's getting in the ring to be a light to this ring. Listen, I want to transport you to New Japan Pro Wrestling, okay? Because Tanahashi needs some like hope and inspiration, Jelly Roll, so that way they could get away from like AEW, and that line would have worked over there in the cerulean blue ring of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I would have been like, yes, just be the light over there in New Japan Pro Wrestling, man, just do that. But I just didn't feel that that line was needed, even though this is supposed to be kayfabe and I'm supposed to suspend my disbelief as I am listening to this promo. I just don't see that WWE is not in dark times, even with the heel characters that they have. there's not one heel character that's trying to take over everything and trying to remind the audience that they're nothing, they're all deplorable, you know, and that heel is like defeating everybody and that heel is winning all the belts. If we were having that kind of storyline in WWE, then yes, I'll be like, Jelly Roll, you could say that you're getting in the ring to be a light in the ring. But I just didn't like the whole pointing down of it, because I'm like, you never want to take your eyes off of your opponent or person just because of like anything can happen. I just don't know. I just don't like that.
I've ever brought in here is a ring light.
And then comparing it to a ring light.
I'm here, Logan, because I have been a WWE fan my entire life.
Like all of us. Like all of us. And by the way, I know I don't really have that kind of pull, that kind of power, that kind of like community to try to get Jelly Roll on my show for Crossroads interviews to ask him about the wrestling aspect. I know he did an interview with Stephanie McMahon and whatnot, and we probably could watch that as well. But I would like to ask him like other things too, because it's a little bit more different to get his perspective and his side, and probably questions that never been asked before, you know, in terms of wrestling. Like, you know, we always ask like, you know, well, I would like to know his first impressions of like getting in the ring, training. Was there ever days where it was like, I can't do this, even though he has a very inspirational Instagram to where like, you know, you gotta keep going, you gotta keep doing it. I wanna know him running the ropes. I really want to know that, because that's my favorite thing to do in wrestling. Like, my bumps fucking suck unless a trainer out there really wants to like train me how to like bump correctly. Because my past trainers, even though it was barely, just wasn't really working out. But I do love running the ropes, and I want to know how he felt about running the ropes. I would like to know what his wife initially thought. You know, if she ever thought about like running the ropes and see what happens. Because, you know, sometimes when you get the wrestling bug, it's like the coolest thing in the world. Me, I like doing stuff behind the scenes. But if I ever get a house, if I'm ever lucky to have a house with a backyard, you know, all that kind of stuff, I would love to get a wrestling ring just to have it, to work out in, to train, to have my buddies come over and have them train, because you always need to be training when you're in wrestling. Just because you graduated from wrestling school does not mean that you know, you stop training. You always train. But I would love to interview Jelly Roll for Crossroads interviews.
The WWE represented me. The WWE represented every single one of us.
Which, by the way, I don't know if anyone has ever asked him this, and I'll probably make an Instagram video about it. But like, Jelly Roll says that WWE represented him. I don't know in what way has WWE represented him. Because I just honestly, I don't think about representation because I am watching content to entertain me. And if I, you know, obviously don't like it, I'll scroll. If I like it, I'll stay and watch. I'll support those that, you know, I can see the potential in, but I don't look for things to represent me. And I am a Latina. I am Puerto Rican and Italian, so I just don't understand the representation part, because I don't look for it. I only look for things that, like, you know, entertain me. It doesn't matter what it is. If it entertains me, cool. So I would like to have that discussion with Jelly Roll, if, you know, the gods permit, that, you know, what does he mean by WWE representing him? Because across the board, WWE represents almost everybody to some degree, right? You can agree to disagree to that. Or if you have a different perspective on that, you know, you can leave it in the live chat, or you can, you know, leave it anywhere, even on the VOD and stuff like that. But yeah, I just don't know what that means of how it represented him. Like I was saying, that WWE represents a lot of different things across the board. There is something for everyone. And I'm not talking about like individuals, because again, when we get the really, really young wrestling fans that are liking WWE now, all of the 19 to 25-year-old activists in the IWC, they think that they themselves have to be represented. But whenever WWE represents stuff or people, it's in groups, because it's a lot more easier to talk about it that way versus like individuality. Because in professional wrestling, it's all about it's all about teamwork. It's not necessarily about I. You will get your individual time in professional wrestling, but for the most part, if you want to make big promotions, small promotions, medium promotions, and indie promotions like work smoothly, it has to be done as a teamwork basis. What we're seeing now is the rise of narcissism and the rise of individuality, and that kind of thinking hinders professional wrestling way more than anything else, and even hinders in everyday life. So wrestling teaches us about how to work as a team. Even if you have your differences, you got to put that aside, because this is one whole big theater act that is completely different from like Broadway theater, off-way theater, but it still encompass theater no matter what. And everybody is all hands on deck, and it's all like, we got to work together. So I'm just saying this again, I would love to interview Jelly Roll and ask him about this representation, because again, I don't seek out entertainment for representation, despite me being a Latina. I really don't. I seek out entertainment if it, makes me laugh, if I like it. If I don't like it, I just don't watch it. I don't really put that in the front of my mind of like, oh my God, they have to represent me because I'm Puerto Rican Italian. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. As long as you can entertain me, we should be good.
And you make fun of my story, but my story has inspired millions and millions of people
rednecks around the world.
Okay, hold on. Damn. All right. Again, I don't like Jelly Roll looking down, pointing down, because it just doesn't help the promo, especially when you are giving such a very heartfelt promo. And we all know Jelly Roll's story in one way, shape, or form, whether that's like the full story or like in fragments. But regardless, it is one of those stories of like, listen, it's your story, it's your passion. You gotta like deliver that directly into Logan's face, his eyes, because it's something that's personal to you. And if it's personal, you gotta do eye contact. You can't look down the ring like that. That's where like it's a tiny bit different. It's a tiny bit different, and that's why I'm like, Jelly Roll's a good promo. He could really talk. He could really do great, but just little tiny mannerisms. That's all it is. Now let's listen to this whole thing in full.
And you make fun of my story, but my story has inspired millions and millions of people
rednecks around the world.
Dog, you have the audacity to talk to me crazy when we know in your heart and soul you are soft as Charmin?
Okay, I'm gonna hold on. Wait, no.
And I know for sure you ain't nothing but a prime peddling punk ass bitch.
Okay, first of all, I would have liked a little bit of more silence after Logan Paul said that a bunch of rednecks, right? Because he interjected. By the way, that was a good interjection from Logan Paul. We don't get many interjections like that in promo battles for some odd reason, but that was a really good interjection saying rednecks. I just think that Jelly Roll's anger should have been a little bit more, because you could see it in his face. He was like, this motherfucker just said rednecks to me, like he just said this shit. And then you could hear the more of a disappointment rather than being like motherfucker. right? When he says the word dog, right? It sounded more disappointment than having it sound like motherfucker, right? But you gotta do like the New York motherfucker, for that to reach what I would have directed. And then Jelly Roll just goes into his thing, and that, saying that Logan is softer than Charmin, which is a very good line. That was a very, very good line. And then, threw all the words at him that he's a peddling prime punk ass bitch, which is like all alliteration because, again, he is a songwriter, so he's gonna have alliteration. And for those of you that don't know grammar out there, because everybody wants to put in pronouns into their bio now, which is like, you guys are using it wrong and then yelling at people who know how to use grammar correctly. If you don't know what alliteration is basically words that are going to start with the same letter. So like, what is it? Prime, peddling, punk. They all had P's. So alliteration. Tech Nine does a lot of alliteration in his music, which sounds amazing, but it's all like all the words with the same first letter. So again, prime, peddling bitch. Oh no, bitch is not in there. That's what it be. But prime peddling punk. It stops right there because then it's ass bitch. As a poet, there is no alliteration, but you can sort of make the argument that, soft as Charmin, even though we know Charmin is a CH, but soft as Charmin. But yeah, no, that wouldn't work. That worked for like a slant rhyme. Cause you got soft and then Charmin do for that. By the way, I have a degree in creative writing. So I took classes for not only creative writing, but like poetry and screenwriting and all this kind of stuff. But I just wish that Jelly Roll here would have let that linger, especially if like someone is going to be disrespectful and use the word redneck against someone like Jelly Roll. And I bet you that people in Cleveland probably like heard it too. Or, we have trailer park people who live in trailer parks, and that's where like the connotation of rednecks like come from. So like it has the connotation, it has the history. I just think that it would have been maybe better to like let it settle for a bit before he went right into it. I know this is probably not the end of the promo, or maybe it is, but overall, right now, the promo was not bad between these two guys. There was just some stuff body language wise that could have been just a little bit better on Jelly Roll's side, but that's totally fine. But Jelly Roll does good promos. Logan Paul, as much as I say he needs a little bit of work, especially for like delivery, depending on who you put him with, he does a pretty good job. It's not that bad. But it just felt like they were delivering lines, even though they probably felt the majority of the lines, but it felt like just delivering lines and making it happen. It got me hyped when I saw it. Again, I'm not really upset at this at all, but that's just my first like initial thoughts. Like, it was good. Could have been a little bit better, directed a little bit better, just so that way we can get certain shots, we can get certain emotions coming through, because it's there, to make it believable and not have the world laugh at Jelly Roll, which they're not really doing, which thank God. Again, if you live on the internet, especially on Twitter in the IWC, you basically end up, seeing all the toxic people and all the stupid people basically get on Jelly Roll and be like, oh, why is he here? Like, I was trying to figure out why people don't like Jelly Roll, especially in the IWC. And I'm like, yo, he's not a bad person. Why do you guys do not like Jelly Roll? Obviously nobody can give me an answer. But now that they can see what he can do, everyone is now changing their tune. You know?
Oh, look who's arrived.
I want you to know you have made a really big mistake if you think I came here alone tonight, boys.
Oh, I also forgot to mention that Jelly Roll sounds like a fucking preacher. He has like certain pitch afflictions when he talks. You can definitely hear the country come out of him. But he sounds like a preacher, man. Like if he had to tell me something, I think I would be like, yes, sir, let's go do it. You know, it's one of those like, yes.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand.
Wow. I did not know that he sang the just the opening line of Randy's theme song. But then again, when you have a singer, you know, that works. Okay, so hold on. So Randy gets into the ring because, you know, again, it's gonna get claimed. This whole thing is gonna get claimed when I put it on YouTube. By the way, I did say this before on someone else's podcast, on Alternate Jake's podcast, who's a member of the IWC. But I love talking to him and I love talking to George. I did mention that like it does get annoying when you guys sing a wrestler song. I have no idea when we're gonna like dial that back, because it is like, you know, I understand of giving the wrestler their flowers and singing along to their song and whatnot, but like leave it over to the UK for them to do it, because they set up a system where it makes sense why they keep singing songs and doing this and doing that. You know, most of the time, I think that the American crowd tends to want to hijack the show for some odd reason. And they end up singing the wrestler's song like through and through and through. But yeah, like, when are we going to dial that back? I just want to know.
Here they go.
I just got, you know that phrase of like Rick rolled, right? I think I just got like Randy Orton's version of it, because I did not know that he was just going to hit Drew McIntyre with the mic. I did not think he was going to hit Drew McIntyre with the mic. I thought he was going to say something, but that was clever.
We're wasting no time whatsoever, no time for talk.
Oh my God, those forearms.
Cheap shots are plenty right off the bat.
Oh my God.
Things happen in that ring.
And now it's
that was a good fall.
McIntyre right over the top of Jelly Roll.
Listen, I am cheesing right now. Like, I don't know if my community can help me get an interview with Jelly Roll, but just the fact that Jelly Roll knows that, okay, Drew McIntyre was about to punch him, so he's gonna cover up. You know, sometimes, you know, you kind of want to like let that settle. Not settle. That's the wrong word. You sort of want to let that simmer in a way, because you want like the camera to sort of get your face and some emotion in there and whatnot. But covering up right away is a very good thing. The fall was okay. Those forearms that Jelly Roll gave, you can tell that those forearms in the corner towards Logan, they were good. They're good for the camera. You can tell that it. I don't want to reveal too much, but then again, we have WWE Unreal. But I could tell that those forearms were safe as shit. Those forearms were safe as shit, but they will pass. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I need to know. I think it's because of all the years that Jelly Roll, myself, other people in the wrestling business, who are fans outside the business, who have been watching wrestling for a long time, and then when they decide to become a wrestler, they just pick it up really, really good. Jelly Roll did say that he was being trained by like a lot of good people, so like Undertaker, like Jacob Fatu, everybody else. They have taught him well. And what I like is that they teach him how to be a big man. You don't get that nowadays of like someone teaching you how to be a big man, because obviously Jelly Roll is not like your average indie star that's like, I don't know, 180 with muscle and whatnot, and like a really small guy that can do hurricanranas, that can do lucha stuff and whatnot. But like Jelly Roll is a big guy, so like teaching him how to be a big guy, throwing those forearms like he did like a big guy, even though again they were soft as shit, but they'll pass for TV. You know, doing what is necessary for the situation, and that's what I like. Jelly Roll is not doing too much. Jelly Roll is not doing too little. Jelly Roll is right in the middle of like, I am doing everything for like TV right purposes.
Jelly Roll came here to give light to the ring tonight.
Oh, is he serving him up here to Logan Paul?
It's punishment time. This is a lesson
Oh,
for
tag.
Jelly Roll.
The beatdown is underway in the center of the ring.
Okay, we could all see that. I'm not gonna expose that.
Of the music superstar Jelly Roll. Oh, Randy's back up. Randy's got Drew.
Did he just say I'm just a guy?
Takes more than a poke to the eye to keep the Viper down. Stomping the hell out of the Scottish Warrior. And now Jelly Roll back in a fight.
Would you look at Jelly? Jab after jab.
Shake, rattle, and roll.
And an elbow.
I'm sorry, hold on. Because, by the way, can someone in chat tell me how tall Jelly Roll is? Is Jelly Roll like 6 feet tall? That would be fantastic if someone in chat can tell me how tall Jelly Roll is. All right, so let's watch this again, because this was the other part that I critiqued on Twitter at Marie_Shadows, is what Jelly Roll does. Again, Jelly Roll has it. It's there. It just needs just a couple more reps and he'll be good.
Takes more than a poke to the eye to keep the Viper down. Stomping the hell out of the Scottish Warrior. And now Jelly Roll back in a fight.
Would you look at Jelly? Jab after jab.
I don't know how I feel about that. Him grabbing him from the back of the neck and throwing him into the ring, into the ropes. I mean, it's halfway in. It's fine. It's just I don't.
Shake, rattle, and roll.
And that elbow. See. This is the problem, that like he started in the middle of the ring, threw him. Logan doesn't have. Well, it's not really on Logan's part. It's not really on Logan's part right here. It's on Jelly Roll's part, because he's throwing an elbow. He didn't really have to extend to make it look vicious, you know? That's why I'm like, it should have been a little bit further. So like, here's the middle, right? The middle is right here. It should have been a little bit more towards the other way, towards the other rope, before he threw him in, so that way there's enough time to throw the elbow and make it look like, yo, I'm really gonna elbow this kid into like next week or something like that. Like, there need to be impact, because what it looks like is shoulder more than elbow. It looks more like here that he went in, rather than like an elbow. It didn't look really well for the camera and for, I mean, I'm entertained. Okay, I'm entertained, but I am breaking this down. And if you enjoy these kind of breakdowns, hit that follow button right here on rumble.com/Square Circle Podcast with Marie Shadows, I guess. Which this should be like on tape study. Like, guys, again, I am so new to Rumble that I'm trying every which way, and I might have to make like a tape study section just to like do tape study stuff. Yes, please welcome me to Rumble. Anyway, he should have thrown the elbow more into Logan. It just didn't look right.
Back elbow, shoulder
Oh,
tackle
what?
by Jelly
No.
Roll.
Oh, hold on.
And roll.
And an elbow. Back elbow, shoulder tackle by...
It's not. My God. It's not bad. It's just the setup. The setup. Oh my God, the setup. This is what happens when things are moving too fast, and maybe that's because the segment is taking up too much time. In my other previous YouTube videos and also like podcast videos, I do talk about that, like in professional wrestling, you have to stick to your times. So with a segment like this, where it's Logan Paul's live, impulsive live show, you have Jelly Roll, you have Randy Orton, you have Drew McIntyre. You are given a certain amount of time to do so. Logan is not like letting anything settle. This is like way too fast, way too like quick. That shoulder tackle. I mean, that shoulder tackle is textbook, but it just looks so bad. It's one of those things of like, oh man, I've seen a shoulder tackle so many times before. But okay, let's.
Jelly Roll back in the fight.
Would you look at Jelly? Jab after jab.
Shake, rattle, and roll.
And an elbow. Back elbow. Shoulder tackle by Jelly Roll. The Performance Center perhaps paying off a bit, Wade.
Using all of the power in that frame. Just a big set of lungs.
Now that kick to the midsection takes him down to his knees.
To show your experience in this game is paramount, and Logan Paul has that certainly.
Oh, he's locking in that big right hand, Wade. He's locking in that big, powerful right hand. Jelly Roll escapes it. My, oh my, black hole slam!
Oh my!
Okay, so this is where I had critiqued it. It's a very decent black hole slam. What I really was talking about on Twitter was the way that the action happens, because again, if someone in chat can tell me how tall Jelly Roll is, then I could probably change my my assessment of this. But yeah, Jelly Roll gets kicked, goes down to one knee, sells it a little bit. You know, he's not bad in selling, but I don't think a kick like that should have resulted in I'm gonna take a knee. And then, you know, Logan being like, get up, Jelly, as if like he's going to punch him in the face or whatever. I think that it should have been a little bit more of a differentness of it. Only because in the first section of them fighting, it was really, really quick. It was like, you know, do some of the jabs, send Logan Paul into the ropes and then into an elbow. Logan Paul goes down immediately. As he goes down, he rolls, gets back up to his feet, and then we go on from there. It was very quick. This was a little more slowed down in a way, when I'm like, you guys should have just kept the pace. The Black Hole Slam is obviously from Abyss. If you don't know who Abyss is an amazing wrestler. Now he is retired, and he has a whole entire legacy in TNA. As being the Monster Abyss, doing hardcore matches, being one of the best out there. I really do love Abyss, and Abyss taught him how to do the Black Hole Slam. It's not bad, but if someone could tell me how tall Jelly Roll is, don't be afraid to leave it in chat. It's just that the grabbing, Logan jumped into it, as I can tell, and just bringing him around. Again, it's not bad. It's just that it could have been like at least guided a little bit more to make it a little bit more polished. Because, you know, WWE is all about smoke and mirrors. They can make someone that, you know, looks like shit into $1 million. So I wanted that, you know, here, even though this got the crowd hyped, the crowd is not really going to care. People at home are really not going to care. I don't really care too much, but I rather give out like coaching advice to be like, hey, did you think about it this way, or that could have happened? I think that a couple more reps in and a couple more trying for doing the Black Hole Slam where it looks good and it doesn't look like someone jumps into it or whatnot. And also, it probably is the clothing as well. I didn't really think about this, because in my head, I was like, yo, what kind of gear is Jelly Roll going to have for SummerSlam? And I really want to know what kind of gear he's going to have. Because if he's going to wear, you know, like that I guess he's wearing an open button-down shirt. Let's just say for the sake of this, because I don't really know what it is. Or it could be like a tiny little mini, very thin jacket. Like, I don't know. Or a sweater. But having something like that as you're wrestling is going to hinder him. And then it's going to create the moves to look weird. And I think that's what this whole segment is that like his clothing is making the moves look kind of weird. So I wonder what he's gonna wear for his gear. And by the way, if you guys have any ideas about what kind of gear Jelly Roll is gonna wear, like, let me know. But yeah, like I said, it's not bad. It just needs some work, some tweaks.
Bossman slam by Jelly. Can you believe this?
Oh yeah, Randy Orton is also teaching him too. It is it's a button down open shirt. Or in
Impulsive TV came to a thudding, crashing ending by way of Jelly Roll.
Huge shocker there. Jelly Roll proving he has picked up some chops in the fight game.
Okay, so that's that. That was me basically talking about Jelly Roll and Jelly Roll's whole thing. I thought that they wrestled on Smackdown. I guess that was them wrestling because somebody was like, yeah, they have a match. They had a match before, SummerSlam. And like I said, SummerSlam is, August, what do you call it? 2nd and the 3rd. So, there's that. And by the way, if you're just joining, I am Marie Shadows. I'm the host and the creator of the Square Circle podcast. This is the channel that I created, other than like my main channel, I guess Marie Shadows. I don't know how Rumble works. I'm still learning. But thank you for joining. Thank you for listening in. And if you like what you hear, what you see, the breakdowns or whatever, give the channel a follow. Even though I might have to make another channel, like I don't know. Tell me what to do and not to do on Rumble. Just so I know. So I wanted to go over that. I don't think, oh, I already have, I am glad that everyone is here. Make sure to hit that like button too if you're enjoying the show. Again, this is like day 3 of me using Rumble, and I am so thankful for you guys. I really, really am. Thank you so much for tuning in and lurking if you need to lurk. So what I wanted to do was switch topics for a little bit, because we talked a lot about Jelly Roll. Again, if you guys end up wanting to say something or whatnot, or leave a message or stuff like that, that'd be great. Okay. Or you have any questions or whatever about SummerSlam or whatnot, now in my head, I'm like, I wanted to bring awareness to something, but actually no. You know what? You know what we'll do? Because I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, as they say. I really don't. My thoughts on Hogan and Hogan's passing, and you could go back into the catalog right here on Rumble. If you are on YouTube, you could go back into the back catalog. I do know that I want to create a cleaner version of it for the Square Circle podcast as a whole, because the Square Circle podcast is on your favorites podcasting platforms such as Spotify, Apple, Google, anywhere you listen to audio podcasts, right? And because I have my Spotify synced up with YouTube, it's gonna show again. Either way, that's not the point. I'd rather do a cleaner version of talking about Hogan's passing, because there could be a lot more stuff that I could reiterate, and there could be a lot more stuff that if I didn't think about it to give that perspective. But I just quickly want to say that I do not understand this need for some of my mutuals, or just one of my mutuals, if we are still mutuals. I don't know this need for wanting to push your anger that I think that most of the time is very, very unjustified. Just because it's like there are way bigger things other than like one white man saying the N-word, and there's way more nuances to these conversations. And the way that Hogan was like, "Oh shit, I should have never said it. I'm sorry," and he never said it again, kind of deal. But you still want to blame the one white guy because that's what media has told you over the years. And it's like, that has to stop. You have to get out of that mindset, because it's not, I was gonna say it's not every white person, and I was also gonna say that like every single group is going to have their bad days. Every single group is gonna have their bad apples. Let me just switch to this. Every single group is gonna have their bad apples. Every single group is going to have their good apples. Every single group is going to have a mixture of like stuff. And, if you're not trying to fix your community, build up your community, change your community, I don't understand why I have to also be on that same, you know, that same kind of journey of being angry for no reason and believing stories that are either made up depending on who said it. So for example, Hogan created the American beer, and there was a black chick that was employed, and apparently she got fired, but people want to pin it on Hogan that Hogan fired her. And it's like, are you believing the dirt sheets? Are you believing someone that really wanted the attention because Hogan is a big name, and she went and said that, but then never said a word again when it turned out that that wasn't the truth? Sometimes a big name like Hogan and other people that decide to start a business and they decide to start a product, they don't get to have a say in who gets fired, who doesn't get fired. They may end up having like a list put on their desk where it's like, oh, these are the people that work for you, but they don't really know who they are. But 9 times out of 10, the person who created the thing and the person with the big name may not know who you are. So if you get fired, 9 times out of 10, it was not the person. And when I say 9 times out of 10, is that the 1% is always the exception to the rule. So I don't understand this need for people who know me in the internet wrestling community, that I've, either podcasted with or talked with or whatever. I don't know why they want me to think like them and have this anger that it's totally misplaced. That is the word. That is the word. Earlier I said unjustified. I still think it's unjustified. Just because it's like you have this energy and this vitriol towards one white man, but if we're going to talk about culture and like hood culture, there is rap songs that have the N-word in it no matter what. There are kids that go online that play Call of Duty, Fortnite, any kind of shooter game, and they will just say the N-word. They'll have like really weird conversations, and they'll have the mic on and they'll say whatever it is. But, no one bats an eye to that when like it's actually there. There are, drug dealers in the community. There are, stuff that happens. There's gang violence. There's gang on gang violence. There's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be fixed and that happens on a daily and that doesn't change. But one man who slipped up, who was drunk, who was down on his luck, who was really at the bottom of the barrel, who really had an MTV show, was in the spotlight the whole entire time, and you don't think that takes an effect on someone's mindset, especially with the way that his ex-wife Linda was treating him, the way that his kids were treating him, the way that there was a lot of reactions to everything. And you see how I'm giving a lot of nuances to these conversations, because in hindsight we could look back to be like, oh shit, all this stuff was adding up, and then eventually it just slips out. Everybody has that moment where things slip out when they're at the rock bottom, where they can't think straight and their mind is not 100% there. And then for Hogan to go on Booker T's podcast to talk about that and even say that, like, he realized that that was not a good thing to do, and he said to himself that he made sure not to be in that state of mind anymore. And he said to himself that he said that he's not going to ever say that word again. He never said that word again. He never said the N word again. But people, online want to, dance on his grave and be like, oh, he left the business worse than it was, and he was bad, and he ruined the unions and whatnot just because he went to go tell Vince, and he was snitching. A union would have crippled the wrestling business. I've said it before in my last live stream that, like, I don't like unions. Unions suck. Unions are not for you. Unions are for the people who decide to run a union and they fill their pockets. If unions were so great, the teachers union would have the teachers back whenever a kid in school acts up. If the unions are really good, we wouldn't have so much ideology in the school systems and whatnot. Teachers will have better protections. Teachers will actually get a raise, but they really don't get a raise. Unions are not for people. Unions are for themselves. But to have a union in wrestling, it would have messed things up, because wrestling is not like an ordinary 9-to-5 job. You don't clock out of wrestling unless you want to hang up the boots or something horrible fucking happens. Or you just don't want to do it anymore, but that's different. But there is no like 9-to-5 in a wrestling. You don't clock out of wrestling. So how can a union help you with that? And then unions will have to force all of the indies to pay the rates of every single wrestler, and every single person is going to have a different rate. And if you guys don't know what a rate is basically saying that, hey, because I used to do commentary on the indies, I don't mind if like my rate is like $75. That's like something that's really, really low. Other people can charge like 100. Some people charge 1,000. Some people charge 5,000. Like, people have different rates because that is the value attached to them. But if we had a union, that means that every single promotion would be out of business because they don't have enough money to pay people. And by the way, some indie promotions really don't pay people. Indie wrestlers, some of them, for the majority of them, from my personal experiences, most of them get paid a hot dog and a handshake. I hope you guys like heard that phrase before, but they get paid a hot dog and a handshake. And so, so if we had a union, indies would be destroyed. People would try to get paid the same way, but they can't really do that. And then the union would take their fees. Why they're taking the fee? I don't know, man, because you guys really don't do anything. You guys don't really help out. So why are you taking a fee out of their money and whatnot? And then no one ever thought about, like, well, what about merchandise? Are they going to take a fee out of that? Are they going to take the royalties out of that? So by knowing all of this and knowing all the nuances, tell me again how you're gonna blame Hogan for being a snitch for having a union. This is why if you live in a blue state and you're completely brainwashed, they're really gonna make you think like a union is good when it's not. A union can be good on paper, but if you really like try to look at it and try to apply it to everyday thing, it's going to definitely like not help out. It may keep your job secure. And if you have a problem, you could tell them and they could go to HR and they could be there for like on your behalf. But why would you want to be lazy and stay in a job for like years and years and years and never try anything new? Never try to get a spark back to get inspiration, because life all around us is inspiration, but you want to stay at a dead-end job knowing that it's comfortable, it's cushy, and the moment that someone is like, hey, why don't you do something different, it's like, no, I gotta stay here. I just don't understand my mutuals. in making me want to be as angry as they are about Hogan, when it's like, if you live in the hood and you live in the culture and you know about the culture, uh, you know, shit is about to happen. Like there are times where, if you're hanging out outside and you're really well respected with the other neighbors in the building, and if they will allow you to say words if you want to, because you're just one of them, you're their friend at this point. I just think that sometimes forgiveness is key. Um, People might think that I'm siding with like Hogan through and through, but no, I'm giving different perspectives. I don't like the N word in any way, shape, or form, but I don't think that you should hold it to somebody that was at rock bottom, because all of us come to a point where it's rock bottom. How come you get to be the angel and get to be put on a pedestal, but yet then like still say, obviously still say the N word, but then when someone else does it and they're down on their luck, it's like, no, they're horrible. They're this, they're that. No other stories or reports came out after he decided to be like, let me take my friend to court, let me make the apology video, let me keep on going, let me keep on trying to help people in private, maybe not in private, find Jesus and whatnot, and then still continue to live a life. There's nothing else that was controversial after all that kind of shit. After he decided to slow down from the spotlight and the limelight, which was the MTV show that like messed him up. The leaked video, not video, but the leaked audio and whatnot, which again violates his privacy. Why is that not taken into account of like, they took away his privacy? Because sometimes you have these conversations with people that, you have behind closed doors. And don't we say that like, yo, keep that behind closed doors? Not everyone needs to know everything about your life. Not everybody needs to know how you think or whatever. But the fact of, coming onto my video to play liberalism, when I'm like, bro, you didn't even listen to my video, you didn't even think of the nuances, you just wanted to peddle all the shit that you got told over the past couple of days to someone like me, and I'm not gonna bend the knee. Like I don't bend the knee. I don't give them the satisfaction of getting that power over me, when they say that like nobody should have power over anybody, but they are the first people to try to have power over you, for you to bend the knee. When, also the other thing that I mentioned too is that like, during this passing, they're like, oh, don't tell us how to feel. You shouldn't be telling us how to feel. For the past 8 years, a particular group have been telling white people how to feel for the past 8 years and created white guilt. So I think that it's only fair that we can just tell them to calm down about a guy that passed, and everyone is nasty across the board. And it's like no one took accountability, but want to keep a dead man accountable for what? That makes no sense. It makes no sense to want to keep a dead man accountable. He passed on to another world, another life that is obviously not here. So why would you want to still keep him accountable? That makes no sense. But again, if you're not going to be active in your own community and try to help raise the bar in your own community, meaning that like, hey, slow down with saying the N-word all the time. I totally get it. It's part of the culture, whatever it is. Or even the music that like you listen to, like, why is there no change there? Well, how come the rappers haven't come to like really help out communities or give back to their own communities? If you're not gonna try to help out, the very disproportionate of like families and single mothers and whatnot, and the baby mama drama and whatnot. Like, if you're not gonna help out in that to be active, then the problem is still gonna continue, where the media is gonna tell you what to think, how to think, and to always blame white people, even if white people are down on their luck. Just like one day you might be down on your luck. And if you ever come to a point where like you're down on your luck, there's always gonna be someone there to be like, listen, we got to pick you up. That's what a community is. And to remind you is kind of like, you know, you want them to change, but if you keep reminding them, what kind of change are you really going to be doing? Originally, I wanted to go to the YouTube video to talk about the comments, but that's basically what it is. Like, I don't understand that conversation. And then every time that I posted something logical, it was another goalpost movement of like, oh, but he did this, he did this, he did this. Logic. Oh, but he did this, he did this, he did this. Hey, you know what? You do you. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why did you come onto my video to talk shit? To not even listen to my video and hear where I'm coming from and hear the perspectives. And then every time that I'm like, hey, did you think about this? Did you think about that? Blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, especially one line of like, oh, Brooke Hogan disowned her father because he was a bad guy. And I'm like, in 2025, you have underage kids and teenage kids who disown their parents when their parents are like, no, sweetie, we're not going to pay for your top surgery. No, sweetie, we're not going to do that. Or when the parents are like, yeah, we could do that, the kids still end up disowning them. So it doesn't really matter if the person is bad or good. Anybody could disown anyone. And it's not really going to make a difference. You can't use that as an argument of like, oh, this kid disowned their parents. The reason why Hogan and Nick, not Hogan, Brooke and Nick disowned their parents is because of the ex-wife Linda, and also because, you know, the spotlight, the cameras always being on them, the constant arguments and whatnot, you know. So it was a lot, and that's a lot for a kid. That right there is trauma and whatnot. But no, somebody wants to use the fact that Brooke, being a teenager, at that time was like, I disown you, dad, and blah blah blah, and trying to use that as like, hey Marie, why are you defending this? And I've never said like I defended any of those stories. It's just that you got to look deeper and having a nuance. If you have nuance and extra context to certain situations, that shouldn't like try to have someone make you that shouldn't have someone thinking that you're trying to defend it. If you're trying to give nuance and extra context to the situation or to the thing that you're trying to argue against. But you know, the saddest part is that like all they want to do is argue for the sake of winning, when this situation of Hogan passing, unfortunately and very sudden, has nothing to do with winning. It has everything to do with stop acting a fool, stop dancing on someone's grave, and stop being nasty. Like, there is no reason for that. And especially that just shows your ass. And that shows that, like, you know, everything that the other side says, that they're tolerant, they're respectful, you know, they have human decency. None of that was shown to Hogan. This is why, like, I don't understand when liberals are like, America has lost human decency. Well, you guys don't show human decency when someone dies, and when someone has atoned, and when someone has changed. Some people say that he didn't change, and it's like, if he didn't change, he would still be in the news, where it would be like really bad headlines and with real evidence. And it would have been a constant thing, but I can't find anything. Nothing has ever happened. While yes, we can probably have a debate about Hogan here not being the best for TNA at the time, but he thought it might have been the best thing for TNA at the time. But you know, that's like a very subjective kind of conversation. But in reality, after that, what else bad did he do? He didn't do anything else bad. If someone could really point to something really substantially egregious kind of bad, then let me know. But most of the time it's like, you guys are looking for something to get upset. You guys are looking for something to have this misguided anger towards, just because he's a white man, but in your communities are still bad and suffering, and nobody wants to do anything about it. Everybody just wants to go up about their day, hang out with their friends, be in front of the building, act stupid, act a fool. And there are people that are hurting within your community. But a white man saying the N-word and saying what he said on his lowest of the lowest, when other people that are in the hood understood what he said, have no problem with it. You know, basically you guys want to make it a big shit when it's like your communities need help. I'd rather have communities be uplifted and changed and have the perception changes, because it's about perception. If you don't want people to say stuff out of pocket that is going to make you upset, change the perception of your community. Like I said, in every single community around the world, we have good apples, bad apples, in between apples, and the good apples always get shitted on, and the bad apples are perpetuated, because in our society it's more about how much negativity can we push out into social media, how much negativity can we push out into Facebook, into Twitter, into Reddit, into all of social media. And it's like, it gets tiring after a while, because people who want to have thoughtful conversations and different types of topics tend to end up coming back to this, because politics are now entering into wrestling. And I thought that it could have been like at bay, but no, people on Twitter are always like, if you watch WWE, you're MAGA. What? If you watch AEW, you're nothing. Like, how does that, like, how did we get here? How did we get here? That's what I want to know. How did we get here? It's really sad that people have now just associate things with all of these buzzwords. And I really don't like using them at all, because it's so stupid. I'd rather be making content that I want to be making. But in my last live stream, I did explain that I never wanted to like really talk about politics or put politics into my content creation, especially with professional wrestling. But like, to get told that thanking men for breadcrumbs is silly when coming to professional wrestling, when coming to anything else, that was the day where I was like, the fuck you mean thanking men for breadcrumbs is silly? And then I basically talked about how like we got to stop telling women that equality is everything and start telling them the truth. And if you want to hear the truth from time to time from me, make sure to hit that follow button right here on Rumble. This is a Square Circle podcast where we do talk about professional wrestling, and it's only about professional wrestling, and we try to keep it kayfabe. But I wanted to bring that up again, just to give us some time between me talking about Jelly Roll and talking about this and whatnot. Because again, I'm still new to Rumble. I'm only using Rumble right now. I would have multi-stream to YouTube, because that's my main, but I am really having a really good time on Rumble. I really like Rumble. I really do. So now let's change some topics. Unless if anybody that is watching, if you have a question, a concern, if you want to get to know me, drop it in chat. You know, you could do that. But I am going to change the picture. I said I did wanted to check out, like, watch Jelly Roll's music with you guys. I think we should do that for a bit. And yeah, let's see how this goes. I should take a break though, because I've been streaming. I should get some water and whatnot. I should do that. Give me a second here. What is this? So it did accidentally do that. Okay. So I am gonna go get some water, stretch, and I'll come back and we'll see what we're gonna do. Because I also wanted to watch WWE Unreal with you guys too, but that might be another time for a different live stream. But yeah, SummerSlam is this weekend. But yeah, let me know in chat. But I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some stuff. Have fun looking at the background. Okay. I didn't make a graphic for the WWE Unreal. Okay. Um. Okay. I do still want to say I appreciate you guys, right? Um. I would also like to do a a Q&A coming up. And I would definitely love to have the Rumble community come in and ask me questions. It is quiet in the live chat. I would like to get to know my new audience, and this is just me being very transparent. I understand if you want to lurk, you can lurk, but yeah, I would just like to just put that out there that I would like to do a Q&A soon, and I would like to chat with people. Okay. Let me just see. Because it's almost about that time too for me to wrap up. Um Liar was 11 months ago. So, you know, WWE used Liar as like the music to WrestleMania.
How I divide my time, it's
Oh my
very
God.
carefully. I'm Alex Diaz. I'm a professional marketer and
Hold on, let me just see if it popped up. No, it didn't pop up. Um
I let you drive around my mind. I can't count the times you made me feel like I'm nothing. Play me like a fool, like a fool.
I think only the chorus of Liar works with like WrestleMania, but like hearing it, I didn't really care, but you know, I did want like some rock or metal for WrestleMania. Like I used to get hyped. Um but yeah, at first I was just like, I don't know how this works with WrestleMania.
Saying drink another whiskey, pop another pill. Money makes you happy, heaven isn't real. You won't find nobody to love because your heart's too broke.
I will say that cadence though that he has, other people have like taken it. Because it's very catchy. It's very like on beat, which I like. My ears like.
Now I know you ain't nothing but a liar. Yeah, I walk right out the fire. Yeah, you try to keep me down, try to put me underground, but I'm only going higher. I can hear you in my head, in my bed when I'm dreaming. You try to be my friend, but you're blowing smoke. Oh, and now I ain't scared of telling you where you can go. 'Cause I know you're nothing but a lie.
Which, by the way, like if you want to think about it, it can work for wrestling. It's just I need some guitars. I need something heavy, behind it. But I have no idea if anyone did a cover of this. We'll check in a bit.
You burn me one too many times, like a devil in disguise, hiding your true colors. Just leave me alone, keep leading me on, saying drink another whiskey, pop another pill. Money makes you happy, heaven isn't real. You won't find nobody to love because your heart's too broke. Now I know you ain't nothing but a liar. Yeah, I walk right out the fire. Yeah, you try to keep me down, try to put me underground, but I'm only going higher. I can hear you in my head, in my bed when I'm dreaming. You try to be my friend, but you're blowing smoke. Oh, and now I ain't scared of telling you where you can go. 'Cause I know you're nothing but a lie. If I was doing what you do, then you would swear I poisoned you. You're nothing but a liar. Yeah, I walk right out the fire. Yeah, you try to keep me down, try to put me underground, but I'm only going higher. I can hear you in my head, in my bed when I'm dreaming. You try to be my friend, but you're blowing smoke. Oh, and now I ain't scared of telling you where you can go. 'Cause I know you're nothing but a lie.
It's not a bad song. I just didn't think that it would have fit for like a WrestleMania. Um, does anybody do a cover of it? That's what I want to know. But I need like a rock cover of it. That's what I need. I need a rock cover. The Simple Church? Oh, that's okay, that's weird. I don't know. Is this AI? No. Little Wayne featuring Jelly Roll Liar. It's a 2000. It's a remix. Oh, it's a remix. There was a remix. These remixes, man. I don't think there's a rock cover. Okay. Jelly Roll is not bad. I don't know why the internet wrestling community, I don't know why the internet wrestling community are just like, no, we don't want them. But just so you know that everybody in well, I can't say everybody, I should say celebrities. Celebrities have always been a thing. Um Celebrities have always been a thing in professional wrestling, you know. I do understand that sometimes they're not placed right. But for the most part, like they are they're there. You know, someone always likes to bring up like imagine if we didn't get Cyndi Lauper in there, you know, and she enjoyed wrestling as much as anybody. She had a passion for it too. Because it's all entertainment at the end of the day. We all like share the same stuff. Um, you know, but I do understand it because I like it when people respect the business, and if you respect the business, I'll give you the head nod of approval. But other than that, like, yeah, celebrities have always been a part of wrestling. But you know, online is the most easiest way to cultivate how to be hateful for like no reason, and like true hatefulness, not no like you know trolling or whatnot. But even trolling sucks too. But just the idea of like you know negativity breeds negativity and misery loves company. Remember that misery loves company. So I've been streaming for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We did a fantastic stream today. I talked about whatever I wanted to talk about and watched and reacted to Jelly Roll's Smackdown promo, gave some tips and whatnot, and then again talked about Hogan because it still bothers me that like mutuals or people that know me want me to be as angry as them, but they don't want to help out the community or help out their community or try to make a difference. But they always want to try to bring one person down. Like bringing one person down is not going to change anything. It has to be bringing down, you know, the lot of people, the people that are always pushing bad things into the community. That's when you have true change and true reform. And yeah, I'm gonna continue to use Rumble. Rumble so far has been great. I've been still trying to just search around and try to figure out things and whatnot. And if anybody wants to leave some advice for me, that would be fantastic. I'm still trying to get my bearings and my legs. Obviously, I'm not as big or popular as the other sites on here only because you know they talk about politics 24/7, which is not, you know, I have no shade for that, but you know I'm starting now. I'm so new, I'm fresh here. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in and watching the show. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys, including all the lurkers. But yeah, I do want to plan a Q&A over here on Rumble. um there's definitely a lot more freedom that I could do. Definitely a lot more freedom. That's what I like. With YouTube, obviously, YouTube is gonna claim, the WWE video. Of course they are, and they're probably gonna claim the Jelly Roll video. I'll see how it goes. But over here is just a lot more freedom, and that's what I like. So I'll plan a Q&A. Follow me on social media, such as Twitter at Marie_Shadows. That's like my main home platform. If you want to sign up to my free wrestling newsletter, marieshadows.substack.com. I don't have a bot. Let me know what kind of bot you guys are using, like what kind of chat bot you guys are using for this. I can't put this anywhere, can I? So I am going to manually, because I love you guys, basically put in my stuff, but I noticed that links don't work. So I have no idea. So yeah, I have a Substack, I have Twitter. If you want to check out my merchandise store and also grab yourself a membership, that'd be great. I do have a Discord as well. Discord gets Discord's voice notes as well. It's called the chat community. The reason why it's called the chat community is because what's the first thing that we all do when we're streamers or content creators is that we call everything chat. Like, hey chat, what's up? Thanks for coming by the stream in the chat. Hey guys, blah blah blah, right? All this kind of shit. So it's called the chat community. Just copy and paste this stuff so that way you can follow me and whatnot. Yeah, so if anything, I will let people know across the board on social media and stuff. Again, this is the Square Circle podcast with Marie Shadows, talking about professional wrestling. I guess I'll leave all the breakdowns here as well. I'm still trying to figure out what's what. If you guys want to give me your opinion or your thoughts on that, or like just tell me how to utilize Rumble, that'd be great. Follow Crossroads interviews and editorials, and then follow my main page. I'm so sorry to tell you guys to follow everything. I'm so sorry. I know that that's a lot. Some people just don't like doing that, but yeah, because again, I'm still learning. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, have a good, wonderful rest of your day. And if you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments below. I do read everything and respond to everything. But yeah, I'm Marie Shadows. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys on the next one.